Hey guys, Jason with CV Customs. I appreciate you stopping in to check this thing out. I couldn't resist. I know if you guys follow my videos, I've got more projects than I know what to do with, but this was given to me. So in the haste of going, I was going to film loading it and everything, and I did film the truck that I went and picked it up with. I had to get it with a semi. It's big. It's like a 1964 Chevy cab over. It says Spartan on it. I'll give you guys the walk around. I'm going to show you guys the truck that I went to get it with. It's a full-on semi, and then we'll do the walk around, and I think we're gonna see if it runs. We'll take a look at the engine and maybe we'll get lucky. All right guys, so this is what we're gonna borrow to go pick up this new truck. And I will tell you, I'm a fortunate person. I've got a father-in-law with a trucking company who has no problem with me borrowing the trucks. So we're gonna go get this free water truck. Anybody in California has got any transporting needs, Barcelos Farms Transport Inc. can handle it. They don't really go too far out of California. All right, I'm gonna fire this dude up, and then we're gonna head down and pick up this this water truck. Okay guys, so start the walk around. Let's just take a look at the passenger side here. So right off the bat, says Chevy Spartan. That's pretty cool. And 60. I'm sure that has something to do with the size of it. All the badges are still here. The windows are all good, minus the driver's window. I don't know if you guys can see the starburst here. Yeah, my head's still in the sun. So got the bow tie. It looks like it's got the two bow ties. I wonder if somewhere along the line this came off of a pickup and somebody put it in there, because it seems like for this truck that's the right bow tie. Never know. Yeah, so let's go over here. Same thing, 60 Spartan. Now I don't know if you can read the sign here, but it says spraying on this old tag. So I was calling this a water truck. What this actually was a nurse truck, and they would go out and with the spray rig, they would just add water and chemicals, and they probably kept their chemicals in the cage, filled up the spray rig, and so it did hold water, but it wasn't out spraying the road or anything. Let's take a look at the inside here. So she's crusty, gonna need some work, but overall, she's in pretty solid shape. I am interested to see if it's gonna start. Now, I did look under it, and it does not have the original V6. That's what this thing would have had, was a V6. It's got a small block Chevy in it, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but looks like we got some holes in the roof. I'm telling you though, this thing's very savable. Got an old bus. I know everybody keeps asking me about that bus. If you guys have cab overs, make sure you set your e-brake, because it's got to go out here. Obviously somebody didn't at some point. Now, I don't know how long it's been since this thing's been tilted up, but I'll set you guys on the tripod and we'll take a look at picking it up in a second, and then we'll go get the service truck and see if we can start it up. All I'm gonna really do is dump some fuel in it and turn it over, see if she fires. But this thing's pretty cool. Diesel. I wonder. This truck's not a diesel, but I wonder if they just scavenge this tank for their tank, I guess. I'm sure we'll figure all that stuff out. So we did set the e-brake. You do that anytime you open these things. Let's see what we got here for levers. Yeah, let me get you guys on the tripod so we can see how she opens up. All right, I hope you can see it here. Give it a go. Okay. Now, got a safety. All right. Hey, it's actually kind of easy to lift up. There's got to be some kind of spring in it or something. Oh, there's a safety latch. She's up. Let's take a look at the engine. Okay, so like I said, somebody put a small block in here, which is actually cool that it's already here. I mean, I'm not big on putting Chevys in, you know, 350s and a lot of things, but this is a Chevy. I figure we put a good, healthy 350 in it, 700 R4, so you got overdrive. We lower it down, put a ramp truck on the back. This thing will be pretty neat. But let's see what this actually is. So it's got the single barrel carburetor, or maybe a 2-barrel. Yeah, it's a 2-barrel carburetor. It's a little tiny thing. My guess would be this is probably like a 307. But again, I haven't really looked at any numbers. I don't see anything special about the heads or anything that's on this thing. What a mess. It does have aftermarket ignition, so that's cool. This thing might actually fire up. Starter looks clean. Battery's easy to access. Radiator's good. Let's wonder if it even has water in it. Oh, up here. I was gonna say, all right guys, if you were the water, where would you be on this thing? Dry as a bone. That ain't gonna hurt it to start up. So that means you don't have to lift the cab. You can check this from the... Yeah, see there's a door right there. So you can check your coolant without lifting the cab. Oh, and there's another access right there. Wonder what that would be for. Oh, maybe that's where you would check your oil. Back when it had a 6-cylinder, because now that it's a small block, the dipstick's on that side. So let's walk around. All right, getting over here. That really doesn't look bad for something that's set for years. Honestly, as long as I can remember, this thing's been sitting out there. And I got a phone call, and they just said, hey, you want it? Come get it. So I did. All right, guys, let's grab a battery. Like I said, we're not going to get real fancy with it. The key's in the ignition, so it does turn over. We're just going to see if we can throw a battery on it, crank it over, and see if it'll start, if it'll fire up. And then maybe in the next video, we'll go a little further, because we know the water's dry. That's going to need attention, whatever that is. Thermostat's probably stuck, so we would have to replace that if it does actually run. There's a lot of things we'd have to do, but let's see if it'll start. Okay, before we go any further, the battery's in. It honestly, the old battery came out pretty easy. I don't have them super tight, I just kind of put it in. But I was in the cab looking and looking and looking for the ignition switch. Here's the panel. There's the switch. So, yeah, I haven't worked with these cab overs in a while, so it actually makes it neat for trying to start it out here, because it's just right here. But the other problem was the key that I thought we had that was ready to go. It's a master lock key for one of the boxes, so that's not going to work. So, let's see what we got under there. It's not too complicated, but what I do have is some old International tumblers. So what I'm going to do real quick is swap this out so that we have a key, and then we'll see if it'll start. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me work, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an International key ignition switch in. It's just the tumbler, and we'll try and fire it up. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to make you guys watch me work, but I'm going to check something real quick. I'm going to use my power probe. It's laying around here somewhere. Okay. Use my power probe. I use the power probe because it's better than a test light, because I can apply power and ground, and it tells me what's going on, what I'm reading on the probe. You do have to have it hooked up to your battery. Let me see if you can see the light. See the red light? That's when I'm giving it power. That's when I'm giving it a ground. So, simple toggle switch, very easy. You can also test lights with it, with the ground. I got mine on Amazon. I'll put a link for you guys there. And if you get it through there, it actually helps my channel, so that's pretty cool. But what I'm going to check right now is I'm going to make sure that with the battery on, we have power going to the ignition switch. So I don't try and get my arm out of the way, but see, it lit up red. Hope you guys can see that. And then right here, this is our start wire. And now I can give it, looks like it's in gear, but it does want to turn over. So we got to get it out of gear, and we can go ahead and move the wires around so the switch can work, and we'll see if it'll start. So now we know the engine's not froze, and maybe it'll run for us. So yeah, let me swap out the switch so we can actually play with this thing. Okay, so I got it in there. Now we've got an international key, which is pretty cool for me. So the only other thing we got to check is if there's power going to the distributor. But now we can turn the key on. Oh, cool. Somebody put electric fans. So, and they're still working. That's pretty neat. We go to the start position. And she turns over. So, yeah. Let's get some gas and see if it starts. Okay, so not getting super complicated here. We haven't checked the spark plugs, which I would imagine they're probably good. Everything's on there, but I put a little bit of gas in this cap. Put a little bit in there, set that to the side. Crush fingers. Let's give it a little more gas. Say she runs. Okay, we got a live one here, guys. That's exciting. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be able to get this thing running, and to be perfectly honest, it even kind of sounded good. I know we just kind of let it run for a second, but what I heard I was excited about. Maybe we won't be pulling the engine out. Maybe we'll just get the darn thing running. Brakes. We're going to have to fix brakes before we can do that. If you guys watch Hodgepodge Dodge Garage, Zane just picked up a truck. Pretty cool channel, check that out. And the wheel was locked up when he was pulling it on the trailer, and unfortunately I didn't get the footage of actually loading it up, but I had the same problem. Passenger side steer tire is locked up. We've got to go through the brakes before we actually drive this thing, but it did fire up, and it did it with the key. I mean, it was real simple. We weren't like, we just got to get fuel to it. And because it's a small block, I've got a Performer and a 4-barrel carb sitting on the shelf. I'm not even gonna mess with that 2-barrel. If we're just gonna try and get this thing running, I'm gonna throw the intake on it and kind of see what happens. I mean, at least that's my thinking. Why waste money on that little 2-barrel? So yeah, maybe we'll do a series on just getting this thing running and drive it around the way it is after about 30 years. It's pretty exciting. I'll see you guys on the next video.